I think most people would say, most marketers would say, yeah, Instagram is for everyone. Like it's the main channel. You've got to be on Instagram. I think that's wrong. So I'm going to take a really contrarian point of view in that, no, Instagram is definitely not for everyone. In fact, there's pretty much no social media platform that's for everyone.
Hi guys, it's Sam Day here from DeyTips.com, helping serious entrepreneurs like you boost sales to your products and services online using simple but super effective online marketing tips and tricks. And if you're not subscribed to this channel already, make sure you subscribe and click that bell notification button so you never miss a strategy that could help you to boost your online earnings. So today is a little bit different. I have a really special guest on today called Adam from the Modern Marketing Show. Adam, how is it going today?
It's good, Sam. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's really great to have you on the show. Adam has got his own YouTube channel as well, which we're going to be speaking about in depth. Can you give us like a little bit of a kind of a synopsis about what your YouTube channel is all about and what you kind of help people with?
Totally, yeah. So the YouTube channel is it's basically Adam I Heart Video. It's all about marketing strategy. So we cover things from SEO to online ads to marketing strategy overall, research, some of the boring sides like research and things like that, marketing planning, but basically anything that involves running a successful and profitable marketing campaign you can probably find on the channel.
Awesome. And I actually watch a lot of Adam's videos as well. And one of the things that really stood out to me with Adam's channel was the kind of the content that you talk about with regards to Facebook and Instagram marketing. I haven't really seen another channel that kind of breaks it down in the way you do. Is Instagram for everyone? So if I have a product or a service, can anyone market on Instagram, or are there kind of niches that are just not working yet?
Right. Okay. Excellent question, Sam. Yeah. So I think most people would say, most marketers would say, yeah, Instagram is for everyone. Like it's the main channel. You've got to be on Instagram. I think that's wrong. So I'm going to take a really contrarian point of view in that, no, Instagram is definitely not for everyone. In fact, there's pretty much no social media platform that's for everyone, maybe with the exception of Facebook if you just want to run a few things. But there's a couple things that we're seeing with Instagram, notably, and with Facebook as well, is that they're at kind of like peak right now, peak levels. So peak adoption, everybody knows about them, everybody's kind of using them. So that means that to succeed on Instagram, you can't be first. There's no more first mover advantage. Pretty much everyone's there. So you've really got to be the best. So this means, are you willing or are you able to kind of be the best one in your market, in your industry? You don't have to be the best across all of Instagram or all of Facebook, but you do have to be or aim to be the best for your market and your industry. So a lot of it, and this is where we kind of come back to marketing strategy right away, is you've really got to identify, all right, who's your ideal target market? Are they even on Instagram? If so, who are your competitors? Do you have a chance on that platform? Are you better looking at a different platform instead?
Let's say I have a product or a service and I'm trying to define whether or not my audience is even on there. And if they are, if it's oversaturated and there's too many competitors on there, where do I start with performing that kind of research?
Yeah, so excellent points there as well. First of all, yeah, you want to identify your market. So it's like, figure out, is it men or is it women? Is it this age range? Is it that age range? Whatever it is. And really quickly, you're going to start to see like even a quick Google search on like what demographics use Instagram, what demographics use LinkedIn, what demographics use Pinterest. And that'll start to show you, all right, it looks like my people are here. I'm going to be able to find them on Instagram. So let's say that we've determined that, all right, we've got women age 27, that's kind of your market. Instagram is going to be the main one. Say you've got a product that's like really visually appealing, you're going to be able to market. So now we're going to go to Instagram. Now the key to success with it then, if you've determined, all right, looks like I have to be on Instagram, two things. Number one is to just go very, very kind of niche down and figure like what kind of interests or what aspects of my product or my business are going to be most appealing to this kind of core market that I can create content around, rather than really broad, bland, boring, vanilla, wide open content where you're never going to be able to compete on. So that's the thing there. The second thing is you've got to really understand the difference between kind of paid platforms and organic platforms. Now, there are changes with pretty much every social media platform where they sort of shift from being an organic platform, like say Facebook back in like 2012, where everybody was getting a lot of reach, a lot of exposure for all your content. Then it shifted to a pay-to-play model where you got to put in money. Instagram's there now. So if you really want to succeed on Instagram ads, those are going to be your best bet, pretty much without a doubt. Like, yeah, you can build up an organic strategy. You're spending a lot of time that could have probably been better spent in other areas of your business, and instead accelerating your content with ads.
Okay, so my next question then, because with Instagram, there's many ways to promote or to advertise using paid ads. You have kind of Instagram always kind of similar to Facebook. Whenever you put a post out and it gets maybe a little bit more likes or shares than your other posts, Instagram are trying to get you to push the promote button and start promoting that. But then also there's the story ads as well. So what is the strategy? What should we be doing? Should we be using the promote button to promote individual posts? Should we be doing story ads, or should we be testing them all? What's your advice there?
Okay, excellent. So first off, never touch the promote button. It's like the boost button for Facebook ads. It's the fastest and most effective way to lose a lot of money. So anytime that you hear someone that's like, Instagram ads don't work, Facebook ads don't work, odds are pretty good they've been hitting the boost button on Facebook or the promote button on Instagram. And the reason is this is kind of the easy way to do it. Not only is it less effective overall, and we'll talk about that in just a second, but it also puts you in a really bad mindset where it's like, look, I'm just going to spend money and it's going to work. And that's never how it works. Like, how it works is we're going to take a step back. We're going to be really strategic about everything. We're going to plan it all out. We're going to make sure we have the right message for the right audience that's going to promote the right objectives. And that's how you get results. So how do you get good results with Instagram ads? Yeah, it all starts with that. First of all, Instagram is owned by Facebook. So that means that we've got to run all of our Instagram ads through the Facebook Ads Manager. That's fantastic, because Facebook Ads Manager is by far the most robust and beautiful advertising system I've seen online. Beats Google's and YouTube, which uses Google's. Like, it's just, those are a disaster one. If you're having issues targeting, it's going to come from the Google side. So you're going to use your Facebook Ads Manager. And then from there, you're going to select either the Instagram feed or the Instagram stories. And these are relatively similar in regards to strategy, but only different in regard to the placement. So where the ad's going to show up, what it's going to look like. I mean, there's differences in length and styles and formats, but the important thing to note is the way that people are going to engage with content is going to be different depending if it's a feed, depending if it's a story ad. So you've got to adjust your strategy and your ad creative accordingly. But really all that's going to come down to is sort of making sure that you've been strategic right from the very beginning, and then all of that kind of becomes easy. Like, if we know we're going after this target market, we've got to use this image. We know we probably want a feed ad, so we're going to make sure it looks like an ad someone will click on. Probably want to run a story ad as well. We'll see which one performs better. Then you can kind of scale up the winner and cut down the loser, or at least try to hone in on it and optimize it later.
Let's talk a little bit about creative. So you spoke about, split testing and the importance of, having multiple kind of different tests that you can perform and see which one is outperforming the other. But in terms of what type of creative should we be focusing on with regards to Instagram specifically? Is it a picture? Is it? I see a lot of videos on Instagram as well, or is it kind of a combination? Or is that something you would test as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we always test, regardless. Like, there's never a one size fits all. There's a few kind of rules of thumb that work well. Like, if you're selling e-com stuff or anything that's very product specific, then a picture of the product tends to work better. Like, without fail, if we have a picture of the product, it's going to work better than some kind of lifestyle picture or some kind of end result. We'll always test it anyways, because different markets have different results. But that's kind of a giveaway. In regards to video versus image, so here's the kicker. A video will perform better if it's a good video. That's the problem, is that if it's a bad video, obviously the image is going to perform better. So without a doubt, we almost always start with an image first, so we can kind of get a baseline of what we're looking at. Then we'll put out a video and we'll test a couple different video variations. Now, in regards to kind of what the image is going to look like and what the video is, my advice is almost always you want to take up as much screen real estate as possible. So if you're able to use like vertical video, go for that. If you're able to use a square video, use that. You never want to just have like a tiny little strip or a tiny little video or a tiny little image, because you're not sort of maximizing all of the area that you've already paid for with your ad. So that's the big thing. The second thing is it's got to look like it fits in. It's got to be catchy. It's got to be attractive. All the usual things that people know, but somehow forget when they're creating ads. So what'll happen is we'll spend a lot of time on the campaign, and then we'll neglect the creative and not spend enough time formatting it and designing it and make sure that it's pretty and it looks good and people actually want to click it. And then don't be afraid to ask your friends or your colleagues or your employees and say, hey, like, would you click on this? Does this look good? Is this something even relevant? Because often when you kind of step back and you look at things objectively, it's like, well, yeah, there's no way anyone's touching that thing. So why would you put money behind it? So just a little bit of kind of forethought ahead of time can save you a lot of money and a lot of pain further down the road.
So let's say we've tested a couple of ads and we've got one that seems to be peaking. It seems to be getting a lot of clicks. Maybe it's even getting some conversions, and we want to focus on that ad. What types of things do we do to optimize it for even more conversions? Is it just simply upping our daily spend, or is there more that we can do?
Yeah, Sam, that's a complicated question. So there's so much we can do. The big, heavy, complicated answer is we'd scale it up. And scaling it up is probably a conversation for another day. We can touch on it here, but there's multiple ways to scale it up. There's obviously, like you mentioned, incremental budget scaling, where we can take our budget and boost it up small amounts so we don't mess up the algorithm. We can duplicate ad sets and start it into new campaigns. We can test different audiences with it. We can kind of come up with new creative for it. I mean, there's all sorts of sort of different ways to get it into more people's in front of them, including actually objective scaling. So right now, if we're optimizing for conversions, we could optimize for traffic or engagement or video views. All that's really techie stuff, though, and really complicated. So I think the easiest thing is to really just start to slowly, incrementally increase the budget. So never just tack on a zero to the end, but raise the budget by like 10, 15, 20% every 2 or 3 days. Let the algorithm settle, see what's happening, and then do it again. That's the easiest way. The second thing I always recommend is, as soon as you've got a winner, perfect time to start writing your next ad. Get your next creative, get your next ad, figure out your next design. Because the question isn't if, but when that ad is going to stop working. Could be a week, could be a month. I've had ads that have run for over a year and still been fantastic, but eventually they're going to slide. And when they do, you want to be ready with the next one to replace it so you can just keep that momentum moving forward.
Yeah, that's really crucial what you said there. I think so many times you can be reliant on what's working now and not plan ahead enough for the future. And particularly with paid ads, it's a thing where there's different competition coming in, their interests change and stuff like that. So staying on top of it is super crucial. I wanted to now go into a little bit more of the side of, say, custom audiences and retargeting. But let's start with the feature of custom audiences. How effective is it if someone's got an email list, or even maybe a list of phone numbers, or even if they've installed the tracking pixel from Google on their website? How can they utilize that? And should they be utilizing that with their Instagram ads?
Right on. Yeah. So first thing is that, yes, everybody should have sort of the Facebook pixel installed on their websites. The Facebook pixel will give you that custom audience data for Instagram as well. So important to sort of say again, it's like, yeah, we need a Facebook account. We need the Facebook ads. We've got to get the pixel. That'll give us our Instagram pixel data that we can create the custom audiences from. So how effective are custom audiences? Fantastic, right? Because the reality is that a custom audience is an audience that already knows you, likes you, and to some extent trusts you. These are warm people. They're people that are familiar with your brand. They've engaged with you by either signing up to your email list, visiting your website, perhaps even purchasing from you, making them a hot prospect. So what you can do now is you can take these lists, you can upload them to Instagram or Facebook. You upload them to Facebook, but then you can select them through Facebook or Instagram. And then you can put your ads directly in front of these people, which means you can structure your campaigns very differently for someone that has no idea who you are versus someone who already knows who you are, and you can progress them further down the funnel. And that's the beauty, is that when we're looking at kind of the marketing funnel overall and we're running these like tofu ads, top of funnel ads for cold traffic that has no idea who you are, and we're trying to get them to maybe just take a lead magnet or watch a video or something like that, that's a very different strategy than someone who's already got that. And we're just trying to move them further by giving them more value, by loving on them with content, by helping them more, and by not having to reintroduce ourselves and basically being like, hey, it's Adam again, and here, you've never met me, because they already know who you are. So you can just say, look, you already know all that. Let's take this thing that you've already shown interest in, and let's give you the next step for it. And that's how these relationships are really, really built and nurtured. And kind of the higher lifetime value of the client or the customer, the more valuable these are going to become. So if you've got a long buying cycle and you've got a large ticket sale item for your clients or for your customers, these are basically mandatory because you're going to need them to increase those touch points and to continue showing up again and again. They basically nurture people for years. I've had clients that have read my emails and followed my videos for 2 or 3 years sometimes before reaching out and then say, hey, yeah, I followed you for a while now, 3 years, and yeah, I think I'd like to do business. And we're like, that's cool, yeah, here's an application, we can have the chat. But essentially, yeah, these buying cycles can be very long. So you want to make sure that you're staying in touch and continuing to provide value.
Awesome. Some great value there. That springs a question on which is the strategy. So the funnel strategy for someone who's interacting with your ad as a cold lead and someone who's interacting with your ad from maybe a retargeting campaign. Would you say that if you're targeting people, cold leads, as you were saying, top of the funnel, marketing people who have never seen your brand before, potentially, is the method different? Would you like send them maybe to an article or something and then get them onto a retargeting campaign, or what's your advice there?
Yeah, excellent question, because a lot of people get this wrong, and why their ads fail is a lot of them treat a cold lead like a warm lead. So basically, what often happens is we skip a whole mandatory part of the relationship where someone will run a cold traffic ad and basically say, buy my stuff. So it's like, you have no idea who I am, you've never heard of me, but you should give me money and you should buy my stuff. And it's akin to like proposing marriage on a first date. It's like, we don't really know each other, but like you should really just commit and just like jump in, and that's good. It'll all be fine though, I assure you. And that's just not the way things work. Now, just like a relationship, the ad and the funnel can happen at various speeds. This doesn't have to be a multi-year thing. The relationship can happen sometimes even in the period of a day. You can go and they can walk through your entire funnel, consume all your content, maybe have a call with you. Like, the whole thing can happen very fast, but it does need to progress through those levels. So for a cold person who has no idea who you are, yeah, sending them to something like a lead magnet or a download or some kind of content, that's fantastic. I prefer sending them somewhere where I can collect some kind of information, like an email address or whatever, so I can follow up. You don't have to. You can send them to a piece of content and then retarget them with a lead magnet. You may want to test both, see which one's going to be more cost effective. Once that's done, this person becomes a warm lead. They now know who you are, and that's when you can start making your harder offers. So essentially, when we're looking at offers, we have two sides. We have the direct or hard offer, and we have the soft or transitional offer. So the soft transitional offer goes to cold traffic. This is the lead magnet video, something easy, low barrier to entry. And then the hard offer, direct offer, this is the buy now, sign up for something more time consuming like a strategy call, basically something that's going to make them become a customer later. So you've really got to make sure that that gets structured after so that you don't burn them out. Because there's this expression in sales which is like, it doesn't hurt to ask. And yeah, it totally hurts to ask. You can do a ton of damage by like coming out and just asking for all this stuff when you've given nothing in return. So a lot of people, especially when they're new to marketing, have this expectation that the client almost owes them something, and it couldn't be further from the truth. It's like we have to prove our value and show them. There's a lot of competition, a lot of other people they can choose to do business with. You really have to position yourself as that ideal authority and key solution to their problem, and those are the people that win.
Let's talk a little bit about lookalike audiences, because I feel like that's an interesting opportunity as well. You don't necessarily have to be limited to your own list, but Facebook gives you the option to create a lookalike. So can you kind of delve into what that is and how we potentially could be using that to help scale or manage our ads?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we'll cover one of the most important things about lookalikes as well, which is where people go so wrong with them. So for starters, a lookalike audience is simply telling Facebook or Instagram, Facebook again, which we'll use it for Instagram, that yeah, this is the group of people that I want you to go and target. This is my custom audience, my email list, my website visitors, my customers, whatever it is. I want you to go out there and find me the people that match them the most closely. So it's basically like saying, hey, here's a list of my absolute best people. These are the greatest ones. They love me, love what I do, tell everyone about me, they give me the most money. Find me more people like this. And then Facebook says, okay, here you go. And they go out and they've looked through everything, and they look through thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different data points. They match that all up, and they try to provide you the absolute best customers in return that sort of match with that. So that sounds fantastic on the surface. Where people go wrong with lookalikes is they try to build them off of either the wrong audience or too small an audience. So basically, they might build a lookalike off of something that sounds pretty solid, like website visitors. But maybe the visitors aren't likely to become customers. Maybe they're just interested in other content. Maybe they're interested in a do-it-yourself solution rather than a done-for-you solution, or whatever it is. So you've got to always test your lookalikes as well. They often are your best audiences, but not always. The second thing is that often people will make a lookalike audience with way too small a number. So they'll have, say, 300 people on their email list. They'll build a lookalike audience from it, and then it doesn't return anything in return. And again, it's because you're not giving Facebook enough data to sort of build this thing out. So kind of at a minimum, we like 500 people. Ideally, we like 1,000, because we're not always going to get a perfect match anyways. So if you've got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people on your email list, fantastic. If you've got a few thousand people that have visited your website, that's great too. And a way to increase the size of your custom audiences is you can just build it out over a longer time frame. So instead of, say, looking at website visitors over the last 30 days, you could look at 90 days or even up to 180 days. And all of these are going to allow you to build a larger custom audience that you can then build a lookalike audience from. Sounds super confusing. Easier once you kind of get into the mechanics of it. You build that audience and then you build the lookalike from it. But that's essentially it.
Let's say I'm absolutely new to marketing on Instagram. Where do I start? What kind of things do I need to keep in mind?
Yeah, so if you're brand new to Instagram, probably the best thing you can do is really dive in and consume some of the content strategically. So this isn't thumbing through kind of mindlessly and just looking at stuff, but it means really like sitting down for an hour or two, pen and paper with Instagram open, making sure you've got your competitors and your colleagues and other brands that you follow, and starting to make note of what they're doing. What are the images that they're using? What are the videos that they're doing? How often are they posting? Are they using hashtags? How many? Are they appearing in the post or in the comments? What are the lengths of the captions? What are they writing about? What is the style and the format? Sounds like a lot of homework, and the reality is it's because it is. Like we've really got to dive in and sort of deep dive what's working, how this is going, so we can form our own strategy. From there, we've got to look at, all right, what's realistic for us? Are we going to be able to do this? What's kind of the minimum effective dose? Maybe it's once a day, maybe it's twice a day, maybe it's once every 2 days. What's something that we can do consistently and kind of on an ongoing basis, and then starting to put that into practice. From there, it really comes down to even going a step further and looking at, all right, what's the ad strategy here? Like, if we're going to be promoting content, where do we want it to go? What do we want them to do? And how does this all fit in strategically to the brand overall? Because there's no point in having an Instagram strategy just for the sake of having an Instagram strategy. Waste of time, money, and energy. Like, there should be leading to something, even if it's to increase brand awareness or provide more value or build the email list or whatever it is. But there's got to be a goal, because otherwise we're just going to get kind of wasting all of our time in something that could have been better spent somewhere else.
Yeah. Very, very key, very key. I think that the final thing that I wanted to kind of really touch on, because it's super important, I'm sure you'll agree, is targeting. When you're putting ads on anywhere, really, you want to make sure that you're targeting the right people. But I've noticed as well, you mentioned not using the promote button, but I've seen as well, when you do use the promote button, the targeting is not very great on Instagram. It's quite vague. There's not much you can do. So what kinds of things can we do to ensure that our Instagram ads are actually served up to the most kind of most people who are likely to want to buy our product?
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. So I think the first and most important thing is that when it comes to running ads in general, there's kind of this old hierarchy of success that's back from the direct response marketing days, where they said there's kind of 3 components responsible for a successful ad, and each of them has a relative percentage. 40% of the success of your ad is going to come down to the targeting. 40% is going to come down to the offer that you make. So basically, you've got to give them something irresistible that they actually want to do. And then 20% is going to come down to the copy and creative and image and all that stuff, design of the ad. So this is why it's so crucial that, yeah, we do identify that perfect person that we're going to put our ad in front of, because otherwise we've kind of just lost 40% of the success of our ad right there. So how do we figure out the targeting? It really all starts with forming that ideal customer avatar. So figuring out the exact details of the person that we're trying to target in kind of the 3 core areas. So demographic details, age, gender, income, occupation, anything that forms kind of the sort of generic demographic details. geographic details, what city, state, province, country, neighborhood, street, wherever they live. And then psychographic details, which is really where Instagram and Facebook shine. What are their attitudes, beliefs, organizations, affiliations, kind of all the head stuff that goes on. What do they follow? What do they read? All of that stuff. Because when we put all those together, we're going to be able to pinpoint kind of exactly who we're after. So the question then becomes, not necessarily the targeting is going to be off, because we should be able to dial that in, but it might be the offer. Maybe we're just putting something in front of them that they just don't want. And if that's not the case, then we know that we can move on and, all right, we just have a really bad ad. Like, it's just, nobody likes it, it's not that pretty, it's not that good. So we can start to really discern where the issues are so we can start to fix them.
Awesome. Great. I love how you broke that one down. I feel like this is a very comprehensive interview now, and I would encourage anyone watching this to definitely go and subscribe to Adam's channel, but also take action as well. Like sometimes we can get so caught up with the theory of what is supposed to happen, but it's like what you were saying, we have to test it, and that's the only way we're going to really see what is going to be working, what isn't working, and then we can kind of double down on what's working and get rid of what's not working. And I think that's one of the best pieces of advice, which is to test your ads and see what's happening, really. So thank you so much, Adam. You shared so much great advice. Where can we find more of your content online?
Yeah, two places. Obviously, YouTube is probably one of the best places. So if you just type in Adam Earhart video, you'll find me there. Other option is adamearhart.com, which is ERHART is how you spell the last name, and you'll find me there.
Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing all of that awesome content. If you are not subscribed to Adam, make sure that you go and subscribe. I'm going to leave all of the information to his channel and his website in the description down below. It's some awesome content that you're going to find there. I am subscribed, so that's really going to help you to boost sales to your products and services online by not just looking at the channel, but also implementing the stuff that you actually see and learn there as well. I also have the formula, which is behind me. This is the formula to generating leads and sales online. So if you're struggling at the moment, or you want to up your online selling and you want to understand how does this all work, and you want a framework to start with, then make sure you download the formula absolutely free. I'll leave a link to that as well in the description down below, so you can grab your free copy. But I really do hope that this video brought you value, and if it did, then please click the like button down below and make sure you share this video with a friend. If you have any additional questions or comments, then leave them for me in the comment section. But until next time, watch some of my other great videos. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more awesome business related content. Have a great day, download the formula, and I will see you soon.